Can I watch this about his storyline? Yeah. But can I watch this? Hold on. Let me see. Let's see. Let's see if it's copyrighted. It's not copyrighted. It's all Gucci, right? There's no copyright shit. I think it's all good. Let's just see.
A wrestler I enjoy more as an adult than as a kid is Santino Marella.
Facts.
He had a ton of hilarious moments and made for an engaging character. So since you guys have been asking for it, let's take a look back at Santino's first and last matches in WWE. Despite what his reintroduction might have you believe, Santino Marella was born in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada. At the age of 9, he began training in judo, and in high school, he got involved in wrestling, and even won a couple of tournaments. Having this kind of background became useful in 2003 when Santino began pro wrestling school. During his early years, Marella wrestled in his home province of Ontario, but soon got opportunities to perform around the world. In 2005, he began training at Ohio Valley Wrestling, OVW. While OVW was a development promotion for WWE, Santino was not signed by the company right away. As time went on and Marella continued to improve, WWE took notice and signed him in 2006. The Ontario native would still have to wait for his opportunity to debut, but it finally came almost a year later on April 16, 2007. For the first time, Raw emanated from Milan, Italy, and after an introduction by Jonathan Coachman, Mr. McMahon walked out to address the fans. The chairman of WWE mocked the audience for their lack of fashion, and brought out the Intercontinental Champion, Umaga. The Samoan Bulldozer was looking for a fight, so McMahon set up an open challenge for the IC title. When no one in the WWE locker room answered the call, Vince McMahon extended the challenge to anyone in the crowd. A number of fans wanted the opportunity, but McMahon ended up choosing a man in a brown shirt from the front row. Once he was in the ring, the fans said he was Santino Marella, and he was from Calabria, Italy. With his fellow Italian fans cheering him on, the bell rang and the match started. To everyone's surprise, Santino managed to get the upper hand on Umaga, and it looked like we were going to see a new champion. Only about a minute into the match, and Mr. McMahon interrupted. He said he forgot to mention that this was a no-holds-barred match, and anything was legal. This, of course, allowed Umaga to gain the advantage, as he started wearing down Santino. Just as it looked like things were over, Bobby Lashley ran down into the ring and began laying the beatdown on the Intercontinental Champion. Mr. McMahon tried to aid the Samoan Giant with a steel chair, but Lashley managed to grab a hold of the weapon and used it against Umaga. To finish off the match, Bobby Lashley mowed down the champ with a spear and pulled Santino in for the pinfall. 3 seconds later, and Santino Marella not only won his first match in WWE, but also his first championship.
Yo, a fan. Nah, they did him good. This storyline started off good. I thought it didn't. Not a lie. I never seen this part. I always try to find it, but I never fully seen his whole career until now. They did him good. His storyline was great.
I love this debut. I think it had a great story.
Yeah.
Santino made for a good underdog, and I don't think Umaga was hurt by it. What I really like about Santino's debut is you don't need to be a wrestling fan to enjoy it. It's a good story that anybody can understand and engage with. So after a huge debut like that, let's see how Santino's story continues. The Milan Miracle's first rivalry would be with Chris Masters. The Masterpiece was a tough competitor, but Santino always managed to walk away with the championship intact. His reign would not last long though, as Umaga got his revenge and reclaimed the Intercontinental belt. Following this, Santino's character would develop when he began an on-screen relationship with Maria. He eventually turned heel as he continued to get more and more jealous of his girlfriend. At the same time, Santino got involved in segments that highlighted his humorous side, which caused him to become a comedic character, a trait that would stick with him for the rest of his WWE career. The storyline with Maria developed further in 2008, when Marella's girlfriend dumped him and ultimately got her revenge. With that over, Santino moved on to pursue the tag team titles with Carlito, although they were never successful. The next big moment for Santino Marella was when he began an alliance with Beth Phoenix. They became a power couple called Glamarella, and the team-up allowed Santino to become a two-time Intercontinental Champion. At the 2008 SummerSlam, Santino and Beth took on Mickie James and Kofi Kingston, with both the women's title and the Intercontinental Championship on the line. The Glamazon ended up pinning Mickie James, which awarded the IC belt to Santino. With the title back around his waist, Santino Marella declared he was going to beat the Honky Tonk Man's 64-week record and become the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all the times. Weeks 1 through 12 went great, But week 13 proved to be an issue, as Santino lost the championship to William Regal. When 2009 hit, Santino underwent further character changes as he became a face again. He also went through some other changes. Before WrestleMania 25, Santino stated he wanted to compete in the Miss WrestleMania Battle Royal. He did this by wrestling in drag and calling himself Santina Marella, Santino's twin sister. She actually won the Battle Royal and was crowned the title of Miss WrestleMania. Santina defended her crown a few times until ultimately being fired by Donald Trump of all people. With that over, Santino was back to being Santino. Nothing much happened until 2010 when he began teaming with Vladimir Kozlov. Unlike his team up with Carlito, Marella and Kozlov would go on to win the tag team belts and held them until the 2011 Elimination Chamber. A few months later, Vladimir would be released from WWE, officially ending their team. In need of a new partner, Santino teamed up with a couple of different stars, but they never went anywhere. The two-time IC champion still had big moments though, like when he became Teddy Long's assistant and nearly won the World Heavyweight Championship. Then in March, Santino won the United States title for the first time by defeating Jack Swagger. He would have a lengthy run with the belt, successfully defending it a number of times, until losing it to Cesaro at the 2012 SummerSlam. With his US title reign in the past, Santino kinda just bobbed around. He teamed up with Zack Ryder, but they didn't do anything that was really noteworthy. Once 2012 was wrapped up, Marella would disappear for a little while, only making a few appearances in early 2013. However, once he returned in April, things seemed to pick up as he began a little undefeated streak and started teaming with the Great Khali and Hornswoggle. They entered into a feud with the Real Americans, and despite some single match victories, Khali and Santino ended up losing the rivalry. After another hiatus, Santino Marella returned in February 2014, now creating an alliance with Emma. They had a feud with Fandango and Summer Rae, which saw both sides trade wins before the whole thing just stopped. After that, Santino didn't do much and started becoming an enhancement talent, and unfortunately, this is where his WWE career comes to an end. On the June 17th, 2014 episode of Main Event, Rusev and Lana were standing in the ring. The ravishing Russian showcased her new version of Mount Rushmore, and also gave some praise to Russian President Vladimir Putin. Rusev then grabbed the mic to declare himself a super athlete before beginning his pre-match ritual. Santino Marella's entrance music then began playing, followed by the man himself, power walking to the ring. Rusev wanted to get the match started early and took a cheap shot at the Milan Miracle. Santino was happy to be in the fight, so the bell was rung. Unfortunately, it was not a competitive contest, as Rusev knocked the wind out of Marella before locking in the accolade. Santino tapped almost instantly, but the Bulgarian Brute kept his submission hold locked in until Lana allowed it to stop. The match only lasted a total of 25 seconds, and besides a kick that was blocked, Santino didn't get any offense in. It is interesting how in Santino's first match, he defeated Umaga, a giant foreign monster, and 7 years later, Santino was defeated by the same kind of character. It was cool of him to make Rusev look good in his last match, but I do wish Santino Marella got to leave on a higher note. Afterwards, the Master of the Cobra suffered a third neck injury. He decided it was time to retire, and on July 7th, at a WWE live event in Toronto, Ontario, Marella officially announced he was hanging up his boots. Even though he wasn't wrestling, Santino still continued to work for WWE by making appearances on TV, as well as the company's online platforms. However, things came to an official end in 2016, when Santino and a number of other WWE stars were released. Since then, he's worked as an instructor at the martial arts and pro wrestling training facility founded called Battle Arts Academy.
And he in AEW or Impact, one of the two, right? Which one is he in?
Besides that, he's also been a host for Impact Wrestling and has made a few one-off appearances for WWE. Looking back at Santino's run, I think I enjoy it more as an adult than I did when I was younger. As a kid, I didn't like Santino's comedy that much, and I still don't think it always worked. But I've mellowed out now and can appreciate it. If I have to pick a favorite Santino moment, I'm gonna say this.
The sock.
Where's Punk? Did you try the Pepsi machine?
That's just hilarious. But what's yours? Leave a comment telling us your favorite moment from Santino Marella's career. Then check out...
Yeah, leave a comment, man. What's your favorite Santino Marella favorite moment? I like Saki versus Snake, or Cobra. My bad. Saki versus Cobra. That was my favorite moment.